Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, 1941. One of the most infamous events ever recorded in American history. But in order to see exactly what happened that perilous morning all those years ago, let's take a trip to the past, in the midst of World War II.
At this time, Japan had just signed the Tripartite Pact with Germany and Italy, which now made Japan an Axis power. The US, on the other hand, having connections with countries in the Allied force, decided to stop all oil, metal, and other wartime necessities from being traded and sold to Japan. As you can probably guess, this absolutely infuriated the Japanese. If the Japanese didn't get more oil for fuel, their entire fleet would be in dry dock in less than 18 months.
After thinking of other strategies, Imperial Japan decided to begin the planning and execution of what they called Operation Z, or the plan to attack Pearl Harbor. The master plan to attack the United States Naval Base on Oahu, Hawaii, was coordinated by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto of the Japanese Naval Forces.
Pearl Harbor was not only attacked to regain resource control, it was also in order to gain control over the Pacific Ocean and to cripple the United States Navy, thereby stopping them from joining the war. They also attacked in order to prevent America from stopping them from obtaining oil for fuel.
The attack begins the morning of December 7th, 1941, a peaceful Sunday on the island. During the attack, Pearl Harbor was housing a huge section of the U.S. Navy, including 8 of their finest battleships. It was also supposed to be home to a couple of aircraft carriers, but they had been luckily delayed from arriving before Operation Z was executed by the Japanese. The command Tora, 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 meaning Tiger, 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 was given by Mitsuo Fujita, leader of the attack, to show that the Japanese had caught the Americans by total surprise. In the chaos, a lucky bomb hit turret number 2 on the USS Arizona and ignited over 2 million pounds of ammunition in a giant fireball.
The attack lasted from about 7:50 a.m. to 9:50 a.m., 2 hours of hectic and brutal air-to-sea attack. In those 2 hours, 2 waves of a total of 353 planes that consisted of fighters, level and dive bombers, and torpedo bombers had completely wreaked havoc across a previously peaceful base. The attack left a total of 19 ships damaged or sunk, including the 8 battleships, with 4 of those sunk, 2 of which were completely destroyed.
169 U.S. planes were destroyed. The U.S. lost a total of 2,403 civilians and soldiers.
Through the entire attack, Japan's losses were a staggeringly low 129 soldiers.
Remember, Pearl Harbor was not only attacked to regain resource control, it was also in order to gain control over the Pacific Ocean and to cripple the United States Navy, thereby stopping them from joining the war.
The United States was devastated by the losses and the attack itself.
But Japan had gotten one very crucial detail wrong. Japan's leaders thought the attack would discourage America and keep them out of the war.
it did, in fact, do the opposite.
After the attack, every man, woman, and child wanted to help with the war. In 1942, over 1 million people enlisted in the Army, both men and women. Ordinary people were donating tin and other materials from all over the country to help with the war effort.
Finally, President Roosevelt asked Congress to declare war on Japan. Only one person from the House voted against war, but everyone else was in support. Having decided on war with Japan, they soon also had to declare war on all other Axis powers.
After entering the war, the United States overpowered the Japanese military, but without tremendous loss. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, the man who planned the attack on Pearl Harbor, was quoted as saying, but Imperial Japan refused to surrender, and things got more intense.
Finally, after many attacks from the U.S. to get Japan to surrender, the U.S. dropped 5 million pamphlets over several Japanese cities. These pamphlets had a warning as well as a list of Japanese cities that all had a risk of being hit by one of the most destructive weapons ever created. They pleaded with people to evacuate.
The weapon the pamphlets told of is called the atomic bomb.
The first bomb was dropped on the city of Hiroshima on the day of August 6, 1945. A day later, another was dropped on the city of Nagasaki.
Japan's emperor entered the Grand Council with despair. He knew what was imminent.
Later that month, Japan surrendered aboard the USS Missouri, bringing an end to one of the most brutal wars ever fought, World War II.